Coming up on this episode of the Paw Report, my friend Reba here is going to help me tell you about what you need to do when you're bringing a puppy home. I guess we'll also have our friend Ellen Johnson from the Charleston Area Dog Club here to talk about it too, so stay tuned, you won't want to miss it. That's next on the Paw Report. Production for the Paw Report is made possible by
Inyart Tire and Auto Center in Charleston and Mattoon. Inyart offers complete auto repair. Inyart Tire and Auto Center cares about our community and thanks you for being a responsible pet owner. More information at inyart.com.
Hello and welcome to the Paw Report. I'm your host, Kate Pleasant, and I'm joined by Ellen Johnson from the Charleston Area Dog Club. She's a frequent guest here at the Paw Report. Thanks for coming. And we can't forget about Reba. Reba, I love your dress today, Reba, and she's even got her toenails painted. And then Rhodey's down here on the floor just kind of hanging out. You can't see Rhodey, but she's here too. So we are talking today about bringing home a puppy, right?
Yes.
And that is something we probably all need to know about. It has to start somewhere. So start with bringing the puppy home maybe. So first of all, it starts further back than bringing the puppy home, right?
Yes, it does.
Let's talk about that. Where do we start?
Well, you want your, I'm assuming, okay, for this program that we're going to be talking about getting a puppy from a breeder. We can talk about bringing it home from the shelter or other places later, but this is from a breeder so that you have a lot of warning.
Okay.
Okay. And you want your Triple E breeder, ethical, educated, and experienced. I assume that you have done research, checked out 3 breeds at a dog show, looked at them, talked to people who own them, found out what it is like to live with them, asked questions like, what are the downsides of living with this breed?
Because there's probably a downside to every breed.
Absolutely. So you've gotten all the information, you've chosen your breeder, possibly been to visit her home and seen where the puppies are going to be raised. You have had your name put on her waiting list because a lot of breeders only breed every other year or maybe twice a year, so there's usually a waiting list. The breeder will notify you then when her female dog is pregnant. And sometimes breedings don't take, so you may be disappointed. You can't count on it. You have to wait. And she'll let you know when the female dog is pregnant, and when the litter is born, they let you know. And at that time, if there are 10 puppies and she has 8 people on the waiting list, you know, that's great. If there's 8 puppies and she has 10 people on the waiting list, maybe not so good for the last 2.
Right.
Many breeders will take a deposit at this time, usually $200. It seems to be about what it is. That reserves a puppy. My advice is to let the breeder choose your puppy. The breeder will know the personality of the puppy much better than you will because she lives with them 24/7, and a good breeder is there a lot of the time. And if you have a household with lots of children, you may want a little more bold puppy. If you have elderly parents that live with you and you need a dog that's a little more gentle, you may want a quieter puppy. So you're not going to be able to make a intelligent choice, really.
Right. You can let them match them for you. 'Cause like you said, they're the ones that are spending the time with these animals.
Yes, yes. So the first time that you will see the puppy is at 5 weeks. Most breeders let you visit at 5 weeks, and I have my 5-week kit here.
Okay, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I do. I have never had a puppy cry all night.
Really?
No. And the preparation for the first night begins at 5 weeks. You can either buy a crate from the breeder if the breeder does not want a crate coming into her home. Remember, the puppies are very vulnerable right now. They don't have any immunizations, so the breeder may wish to either purchase a crate for you or use one that she already has in her home.
Okay.
But if she doesn't, at 5 weeks when you go to visit, take your crate after you've made sure that you've sprayed it, disinfected it, whatever the breeder wants you to use. And this is a plastic crate. It's also the kind you use on airlines. It's my favorite kind because I believe that the puppies feel safest in this type of crate. I am not a fan of wire crates for puppies. Okay, I like the crate to be den-like. This crate, plastic crates are easy to disinfect. They come apart, the top lifts off, so when you want to store it, you just take it apart.
Fold it up, right?
Right.
Yeah, it kind of fits inside itself.
Yeah, and store it in a cleaning bag or something so it stays clean. But this is the kind that I get for my puppies. So that's the first part of your 5-week kit. This is the second part.
All right.
This is a freezer bag. In the freezer bag is a hand towel that you have rubbed on the animals in your home.
Okay.
Cats,
so
dogs.
it smells like the other animals.
Right. And a sock worn by every member of your household and not laundered, and a t-shirt.
So a stinky sock.
Yes. Okay, and this goes, now you have to have a very understanding breeder. This goes in her freezer.
Okay.
Okay, and she takes it out the last week that the puppy is at her house.
Okay.
And goes into the crate so that the puppy is familiar with the smell not only of you but all the animals in your home. Okay, and so there's few surprises when the dog comes home.
Right.
It's, okay, I remember that cat. All right.
Because they associate a lot with scents.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Okay.
So when you go to visit the puppies at 5 weeks, be very careful. Don't wear shoes that have been worn to an animal shelter or into a pet store where there may have been adult dogs, and expect to leave them at the door. Some breeders are very picky about, because a lot of parvo germs can be tracked in on shoes. So be sure you wash your hands before you handle her puppies, and of course wash them afterwards.
Right. That would
Okay.
make sense. So that's your 5-week part, right?
Yes.
So then the next time, when's the next time that you see them?
When you pick them up. Now,
Okay.
if you live close, of course, you can go and visit a little more frequently, but, and you don't buy a dog by geography. You know, you want to buy the best dog. It's going to be living with you for 12 to 15 years. And you want a dog whose temperament, personality, and health situation is going to fit in with your family's needs. So.
Okay. And so you would go to pick them up at 8 weeks, and I assume, is it around 8 weeks, between 8 and 12?
Well, it depends on the breed of dog. If you are picking up Reba, a Chihuahua, you want Reba about 12 weeks. That's when most ethical breeders want them to go, because they only fit in the palm of your hand. They weigh about a pound at that age, and really their safety is an issue. Tiny dogs can get stepped on, slammed indoors, so you want to give them a little extra time.
Sure.
A bigger dog like Rhodey can go at 8 weeks. 10, some people feel 10 is better. 8 to 10 weeks is about normal.
Okay. And so what does your 8 to 12 week pickup look like when you go to pick up this dog? What do you need then? What should you be taking with you? What should you be doing?
Well, you need another person.
Okay.
Do not want to go in the car by yourself to pick up a puppy. You need someone to hold the puppy and someone to drive. Okay. If you want to try the crate, I have never taken a dog in a crate, except one time when it most emphatically did not work. Okay, I want the dog right here on my lap so I can see if it's getting sick to its tummy, you know, if it's nervous or upset. I want to see the dog. So my method is I'm a big fan of beach towels. Put the beach towel on your lap. This is for wrap the puppy up if it seems chilly or not.
Right.
Before dogs come in the car with you, you want to know if it's been in the car before. Some have not. You want to be sure that the breeder has not fed the dog.
Okay.
So your pickup time is important. You don't want the puppy starving, but on the other hand, you do not want the puppy coming with a full tummy because a lot of puppies get car sick. So big breed dog like German Shepherd or Golden Retriever, you want to pick them up early in the morning and make sure that the breeder has remembered not to feed them. Now for a tiny breed, you can't do that.
Like Reba.
Well, yeah, Yorkies, Maltese, toy poodles, anything very small, they can have a problem with hypoglycemia. So they will have to be fed small amounts every 3 hours or so. So they're not going to be coming on an empty stomach.
Right.
Okay, now the first sign, the first problem that you have when you take a puppy home is it may get car sick. The first sign is drooling.
Okay.
So
Good to note. Yeah, something to watch
absolutely.
for.
I have here a poop bag.
Right.
And also, this is my cleanup kit that goes in my purse. It's paper napkins. If you have a Mastiff puppy, you're going to want something a little heavier
Maybe a
than
towel.
that. Right, paper towels. Anyway, in the car, some dogs do very, very well in the car. They're used to it. When I picked up my first German Shepherd, he had already attended several children's soccer games, so he was
Good to go.
Oh, yes, no problem at all. The last German Shepherd I picked up, I had not been in the car before, so, and he did get quite sick, so.
It happens. I mean,
Well,
it's just like people. Some people can handle cars, some
yes.
people can't. Same thing with dogs, I suppose. So,
Absolutely. And I think the breeder maybe forgot to not feed him. So, anyway, it can be quite messy if
Right.
that happens.
So it's a good thing to work out with your breeder ahead of time, perhaps.
Yes, and be sure and call the night before and remind them.
Don't feed the dog before I come to pick it up, please.
Right. I would always provide water.
Right. Just always want to have that on hand for
Yeah.
animals. But what about then when you get home? So you made the car ride successfully. Maybe you had to clean up some, doggy puke on the way, but you made it home. You got
Right.
there. So now what do we need to know?
Okay. Hopefully you have all your equipment previously purchased.
Okay.
The first thing that you want to do when you bring the dog home, you don't take it in the house right away, you take it to its potty area. Okay, now if you're really, really smart, you will have saved a paper napkin
From your kit.
well, from when you stopped. You want to stop about every 2 hours or oftener if it's a tiny dog, and let the dog have a drink, go to the bathroom, stretch its legs. And you will also need, if you don't have an X-Pen with you, which is nice. An X-Pen allows the dog to, you don't have to worry about collars and leashes and so on. You just carry the puppy, set it into the X-Pen, and here's typical collar and leash if you want to do that.
Right.
Some puppies have been wearing a collar the whole time. The breeders have to do that. They have to they're usually rickrack collars of different colors.
Sure.
So they are used to having something on their neck, and putting a collar on them is no issue. If you have a breed that all the puppies are different, maybe they didn't have to do that, and so putting a collar on your brand new puppy may be a little more stressful. Anyway, if you are smart, you will save a paper napkin
Right.
with a little bit of pee on it and put it in the puppy's potty area at your house, because remember, dogs are olfactory. That is their
Right.
number one sense of the world. And so if the puppy's nose says, this is where I do it,
Then that's where they're going to do it.
so you're going to be a leg up.
Right.
Okay.
So to speak.
Yes.
So you got them home, you've introduced them to the potty area. What kinds of things should we have had at our home ahead of time? What are
Okay.
our supplies?
I have some things here. This is a timer. This is very important. You want to set this for how often the dog has to go to the bathroom. Now, an 8-week-old smallish puppy may have to go out every hour and a half.
Okay.
A larger breed puppy might be able to hold it for 2 hours.
Okay, so you got to really know you're going to invest some time here. Every 2 hours they need to be out when you get them at first.
Yes. And the reason you need the timer is because you're going to increase the time.
Okay, by a little bit here and there.
Yes, yes. So most people have trouble. That's the one thing I hear in puppy class every week. I always ask, how did housebreaking go? Because this is the number one reason that puppies are surrendered to the animal shelter is they can't housebreak them.
Okay.
And usually, unfortunately, those puppies who can't be housebroken are A, rare, B, they come from puppy mills where they've been forced to soil in their crate.
Pins.
And that's very challenging. This is why a good breeder will have arranged a potty area for the puppies when they're tiny little puppies,
Sure.
when they learn to use the potty area.
In a clean area, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It's wonderful to have a good breeder. Most of your housebreaking will be done
Before you ever get them, really? Okay.
because
that's
the
good to
dog
know.
will have learned to keep its den area clean. Yes. And if you get a larger breed puppy at 10 weeks, most of the hard work may be done for you.
That's good to know. So it's really important then when
Yes.
you're choosing where you're getting your dog from.
Anyway, every week when I ask about housebreaking, I hear, well, I had 3 accidents, but that was my fault, I forgot. So that's why I recommend the timer.
So that reminds you, you can't get out of it then.
Yeah. If your puppy has an accident, you're going to need something to deodorize
Okay.
the area. Again,
your
I use
cleaners.
paper napkins unless you have a Mastiff, and then you have to use something a little bigger, but I use paper napkins because they're cheap and they don't leave lint. If you would happen to get a mistake on your carpet, they don't leave lint on your carpet like paper towels
Right.
do. Soak the spot with this, put a chair over it and you have to soak all the way down through the pad unless you have had the foresight to get puppy-proof carpet pad, which does exist.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I bet it comes at a premium as well, but
Yes.
it can be done.
And then the next day, you sponge off the spot with a little bit of vinegar and water.
And that'll keep them from marking there again, right? Because they
Absolutely.
can't smell that anymore.
Okay, this is a black light. If you have had a dog before or a cat, it's sprayed in the house, guess what's going to happen? Your new puppy is going to say,
it's going to smell it.
my nose is telling me this is where I'm to do it. So before you even get the puppy, you need to check to make sure.
There's no
that
extra spots around the house.
And,
Okay.
and the enzyme cleaner will work on old stuff too. Anyway, this is a black light is helpful, especially if you have a dog like Reba, where the mistake is going to be this
Very
big, and
small.
sometimes you can kind of smell it, but you can't find it.
Sure.
This will help you. You have to. The downside is you have to do it at 10 o'clock at night with all the lights off.
Right.
But
But it's good to check.
okay, then safety. Main concern, even more important than housebreaking, is safety. This is a chew deterrent. There are many
Sure.
different
You can
ones.
get those at your garden variety stores.
Yeah, absolutely. And you want to spray things that can't be removed, like electrical cords, the legs of your chairs, the
Legs of my chairs were a big one at my house. My dogs got a hold of those before I got some of that spray that has the bitterness in it to keep them away. And yeah, that would be a good idea. I didn't think about electrical cords. That's a good idea.
well, sometimes you can't remove them. So they have to be. It's best if they're fastened down. You can just
Sure.
use duct tape. You don't have to do anything fancy, and then spray. Anything else? You can also use a chew deterrent on your hands if you're having a problem with play biting, which is the second biggest problem people have with puppies after housebreaking. Anyway, chew deterrent, very important. This is food and water bowls. I use
Stainless
yeah.
steel.
The reason that I use stainless steel is because it doesn't have cracks in it like the ceramic. The beauty of the ceramic, it's heavy.
Right. They can't knock them over as easily.
Right, right. But they can harbor germs. They're hard to keep clean after they get old, and they chip. So stainless steel is cheap. You want to have at least 3 food bowls, 3 water bowls, 1 for use, 1 for the dishwasher, and 1 to grab. This would be a size of bowl for a Reba dog. This one is what I use for
A roadie dog.
a roadie dog, and If you get a Labrador, any kind of water dog, you want a pan like this to put the water bowl in, because Labradors
They're
love,
messy drinkers.
yes, they are. So you will have puddles.
All over the floor. Yeah, that can be a slipping hazard too. So
No, actually what I use at home, I use a bigger bowl than this because I have 4 dogs, and I use the bottom of a broiler pan.
there you go. That's a good idea.
And then I have a second water with, I think, a sweater box.
Okay.
So,
Put
anyway.
it all off the floor. So,
Yeah.
But we got about 5 minutes left here. So you want to
Okay.
talk about some of the other things that we have here that we might need as well?
Okay, these are toys.
Okay.
You want to have at least 3. You don't want too many. The reason I brought all of them is you want to rotate them.
Sure,
You want
variety.
to have toys this is a Labrador toy. They instinctively love this. And Labradors and Goldens can have stuffed toys. Now, my friend Sandy will tell you that Terriers should have toys with no stuffing. Otherwise, you will spend a very long time.
Picking up the stuffing.
Yes.
I can only imagine.
This is a Kong, and it is good for Terriers. You can put cheese or kibble or
Some of the
anything
food,
in it.
anything in there that might be
And-
interesting.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to give the dog when it's in its crate to keep it occupied.
Sure, it's like a brain teaser for them. So
Yes. This is a cow hoof. This can, if you're worried about germs, it can go in your dishwasher if you want to
Really?
sterilize it. Yeah.
didn't know you could put those in the dishwasher.
These are wonderful for puppies when they're teething at 16 weeks, when their teeth come out. You probably wouldn't give this to a brand new puppy, but
Right.
they're nice to have. This is an interactive toy. You would never give this to a dog and let it chew it because of the strings.
Sure.
This isn't safe. The rest of them would be fine. Just when you buy a toy, you want to check the eyes, make sure that they don't come off. Every once in a while, you see a dog toy that wasn't made correctly, and the eyes come off, and then of course your puppy
Choking
will swallow
hazards,
it.
right.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
So over here, those are grooming equipment. Can I walk over there?
Sure, yeah.
Just-
You should have a little bit of slack there to get to your basic grooming equipment, or if you can't reach, you can always just talk about it. so.
Okay. This is my favorite. This is an all-breed child-proof grooming tool, which is good for puppies because it's gentle. It's made out of rubber, and a child cannot hurt a dog with this. So this is a good start thing to have for a new puppy. This is brand new puppy, very small scissors to cut nails. If you're going to cut nails, don't cut nails without this, which is a gel to stop bleeding if you slip and happen to cut the nail a little too close to the quick. You want to have some way to stop it. This is cleaning ears on breeds like Labradors, Cocker Spaniels. Any dog with long floppy ears is going to have to be used to having its ears cleaned frequently. So
right.
you want to start early. Just be very careful when you do it on a puppy. Do not put the ear cleaner into the ear. And this is beginning teeth. This is a toothbrush for a puppy. Fits on your finger. And you put the toothpaste on there. Dogs love toothpaste. This is a cat brush, which is good for a very small puppy.
It is very small. It would work great on a small dog. Okay, so you gotta have your basic grooming tools. You gotta have your spot cleaners, things like that. And I assume you'd want to have to make sure you have proper introductions to family members and other pets as well.
Yes, and that's when the X-Pen comes in. The puppy is in the X-Pen. The animals can come in and meet the puppy. They can withdraw at will. You don't ever want to introduce other animals and have them restrained in any way.
Because then they feel like they're out of
Trapped.
control and they can't get out.
Yes.
So, okay, so that's a nice slow way to do that.
Yes.
All right, so I think we're about out of time, but I think we got some basics today. So Ellen Johnson, thank you from the Charleston Area Dog Club. We appreciate you coming in and telling us some of the basics for what you need when you're bringing home that puppy. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it, and I can tell that the dogs think
I
it's
think-
just part of their routine
I
now.
think they're
because-
okay with it. We always enjoy having them too. So thanks for watching.
Have a video or photo of your pet doing something funny or absolutely adorable? We'd love to share it with our viewers here at the Paw Report. Email it to weiu@weiu.net and you can see it on our show. Just make sure it's video taken by you or that you have permission to share it. For more information about how to get that video or photo to us, email or call 217-581-5956.
Did you know full episodes of the Paw Report are on YouTube? They can be accessed at youtube.com/WEIU-TV. Then just go to the Paw Report playlist and select the episode you want to see. More information about the show is also available 24/7 on our website at weiu.net under the Television tab. Production for the Paw Report is made possible by
Inyart Tire and Auto Center in Charleston and Mattoon. Inyart offers complete auto repair. Inyart Tire and Auto Center cares about our community and thanks you for being a responsible pet owner. More information at inyart.com.